All right, let's jump right into this explainer and look at the incredible biology and structure of the mitochondria. If you're looking to really understand how life functions at that microscopic level, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to unpack the secrets of this essential microscopic machine and figure out what makes it such a unique structural marvel. Seriously though, have you ever wondered exactly how your cells, and really your whole body, get the energy to do, well, absolutely everything? I mean, whether you're running a marathon, reading a book, or literally just breathing, your body is constantly burning through energy. But where does that raw power actually originate on a cellular level? Well, the answer lies entirely within the subject of today's explainer. So, Section 1, Meet the Mitochondria. We'll start with its basic location and shape. If you were to look under a highly powerful microscope, you'd eventually spot this very distinct, tiny, rod-shaped organelle. That right there is our mitochondria. It isn't just some random, shapeless blob floating around in the cell, right? It has a very specific, elongated, almost pill-like structure, and this specific shape is actually our first major visual clue when we're trying to identify this incredible biological structure among everything else going on inside a cell. Now, biology is, of course, highly organized. And the rule for the mitochondria is that it's present in eukaryotic cells. Those are the complex cells that make up plants and animals, including you and me. But there's one fascinating exception here. They are completely absent in our red blood cells. Crazy, right? On the flip side, if we look at simpler prokaryotic cells like bacteria, the mitochondria is completely absent across the board. So it really forms a very clear dividing line in biology. Moving on to Section 2, inside the double membrane. Let's do a structural zoom in. The architecture here is absolutely fascinating because it isn't just a simple single skin holding everything together. The mitochondria actually consists of two distinct layers. You've got an outer membrane that acts as a relatively smooth, continuous protective shell for the whole structure. And then you have a highly specialized inner membrane, which is where the really complex structural design is waiting just beneath the surface. So that inner membrane, it isn't perfectly round or smooth like the outer shell. Instead, it features these amazing finger-like projections that continuously fold inward. Biologists call these inner folds crista. And by folding inwards over and over again into these finger-like shapes, the mitochondria brilliantly packs a massive amount of surface area into a very, very tiny microscopic space, which, as we'll see, is absolutely critical for how it functions. But hey, it's not just empty space between those folds. If you were to travel past those cristae right into the very core of the organelle, you'd find it completely filled with a unique substance. This is a special fluid known as the matrix. So to recap, you've got the outer shell, the folded inner cristae, and then this fluid matrix completely filling up the inside space. This setup creates the perfect chemical environment for all the biological work that needs to happen here. Okay, Section 3, a semi-autonomous organelle. Let's look at its secret identity. You'll actually often hear scientists describe this organelle as semi-autonomous. It's a fantastic term, but it raises an immediate question for our explainer today. What exactly gives it that special independent status? I mean, autonomous implies it can do things entirely on its own, without relying on the main cell it lives inside. Why isn't it just like every other part of the cell, taking its orders from the nucleus? Well, let's look at the evidence. Unlike most parts of the cell, mitochondria are incredibly independent. Get this, they actually possess their very own DNA and their own ribosomes. Because of this, the mitochondria can independently synthesize its own proteins. And honestly, perhaps the most incredible part, because of this unique genetic material, it can even replicate itself. It doesn't need to wait for the entire cell to divide, it literally just multiplies entirely on its own. This unbelievable level of self-sufficiency is exactly why we call it a semi-autonomous organelle. It's basically a cell within a cell. Which brings us to Section 4, the powerhouse of the cell, and its ultimate purpose. Now, all of this complex architecture we just talked about, the double membranes, the matrix, the independent DNA, it all exists for one profound reason. The mitochondria acts as the vital primary site of cellular respiration. This is the absolutely critical process where cells take in materials and undergo a complex chemical reaction to actually harness energy. It is quite literally the microscopic engine room of life. During this respiration process, it produces ATP, or adenosine triphosphate. And ATP is incredibly important. It acts as the ultimate direct energy currency for every single cell in your body. Think of it like this. Just as you use physical currency, money, to pay for goods in the real world,
Your cell literally spends this energy currency, ATP, to pay for biological work. And this brilliantly illustrates why it earned its famous nickname. It truly is the powerhouse of the cell because it provides that essential energy currency, the ATP, for various activities across your entire body. So that phrase, it isn't just a catchy biological meme you learned in high school. It is a perfectly accurate summary. By driving cellular respiration and churning out adenosine triphosphate, the mitochondria gives you the literal power to perform all your daily activities, minute by minute, day by day.
So we've journeyed from a tiny, rod-shaped organelle with its own double membrane and secret DNA all the way to understanding its role in generating the very energy that keeps you alive. I really hope this visual breakdown helps cement this incredible organelle in your mind, because now that you know exactly where your raw power comes from, how will you spend your ATP today? Until next time, keep looking closely at the details and keep questioning how your world works.